Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. As you can see in today's video, we will be trying out 4 fragrances from Khadlaj. I feel like it's been a while since I've tried fragrances from this brand. These are not new samples that I have in my collection. These are samples that I've had actually for a while from the Dubai collection. But I actually feel like it's been a while since I have filmed videos in general. So how are you doing? I missed you guys. I hope you missed me as well, because I am back and I am back with new videos. So yes, in today's video, I want to try out a fragrance called Musk Pour Narcis. I want to try out a fragrance called Lavish Blush. This is an inspiration of Idol from Lancôme. I want to share my thoughts on a fragrance called Musk Sahra. And I also want to share my thoughts on a fragrance called Oud Noir. Yes, so as you can see, we have some inspirations, we have some unique creations, I think. We have few fragrances for women, few fragrances for men, some that are marketed as unisex. So without further ado, let's just start. Of course, I will let you know how these fragrances smell like to me, how they develop, if I have noticed any similarities with any other fragrances. And when it comes to Lavish Blush, the inspiration for Idol from Lancôme, I actually want to compare it with another fragrance that I have a decant of it in my collection that is also an inspiration to Idol from Lancôme, and that fragrance is called Instance from Ahmed and Maghribi. I have a decant of the fragrance right here. You know what, let's actually just start with this fragrance, why not? Let's start with Lavish Blush. Like I've mentioned, I will add the notes for the fragrance here on the screen. Now, unfortunately, I don't think you can find this fragrance on the Dubai collection anymore. I'm not sure, at least last time I checked, which is right before the video. You can find this fragrance, it's not listed there. So I'm not really sure if they will bring it back in stock, if they will not bring it back in stock. This is a floral, you guys. This is that typical classy, very dainty, elegant. But when I mean elegant in, like I've mentioned, a very dainty and feminine and soft and delicate way. It's not elegant in the sense that it's a very mature and serious or rigid fragrance by any means, you guys. This is your typical timeless, classy, dainty, feminine floral. To me, it opens up with a burst of rose. I detect here pink rose, but it's that type of pink rose. It's not a very sweet pink rose or like that pink rose absolute style of rose that feels very rich and dense and in a sense very full-bodied. It's the kind of rose that feels slightly fresh. Imagine the smell of like you're smelling a very youthful and young and beautiful pink rose. So it's this very natural-esque kind of youthful pink rose that feels quite airy, quite breezy, nothing very dark or earthy. It's not the kind of rose with patchouli, you know, it's not the kind of rose with anything balsamic, ambery. Like I've mentioned, it's a very airy and dainty and pretty kind of rose, I feel like. So you have this beautiful pink rose, and I also detect in the opening, let me actually spray it again to get the opening, because I feel like it fades away pretty fast, but I also detect a citrus kick. Let's see. Yeah, think, you know that style of citrus, think something bergamot, like slightly sweet, slightly sour, but that in a very tasteful manner, in a very, again, feminine manner. It's not the kind of bergamot note or accord that you have in very masculine leaning fragrances that's quite refreshing, quite cold, quite nuanced in a way. Is the style of bergamot to me that you have it in fragrances, like typical fragrances for women from the designer section. So in a sense, it adds a zesty kick, it adds almost like a slight sparkling effervescent touch to the fragrance, but it doesn't take the shine away from the floral bouquet to me. So I have these two that are quite airy, quite bright, quite light, quite soft in a sense, not soft in a sense that it's like a skin scent, but soft in a sense that it feels very delicate, this kind of fragrance, but very elegant at the same time. And also, as the fragrance gets a chance to develop, I do smell, think this fusion between a rosy bouquet with a little bit of jasmine, you know, but again, not that nighttime like jasmine that feels very seductive and mysterious and bewitching. It's the kind of jasmine that feels, again, pretty airy, pretty bright, pretty sunny in a sense. Yeah, all this with a little bit of musk and vanilla. And as the fragrance actually gets a chance to develop, I start to smell the vanilla more and warmer at the same time. And I feel like the base gets slightly heavier and denser, while maintaining this very dainty, elegant, sophisticated, yet very easy to wear quality about it. To me, this is the kind of fragrance that it could be someone's signature scent, in a sense that it's safe enough to wear on a day-to-day basis. It smells elegant, it smells very feminine. Feminine, again, not in a very serious and rigid manner, feminine in a very delicate and dainty and like a pretty kind of feminine fragrance, if you know what I mean. It just exudes this classy feel, but a very casual kind of classy element. It smells like if I were to smell this fragrance on a woman, I would just picture that that woman takes very good care of herself. I don't know why. She likes to wear dresses, she likes to wear a lot of different colors, perhaps she likes to wear white as well. I don't know why when I smell this fragrance, I think of the color white. Like with a white dress, some sandals, perhaps like a pink purse, something like this, you know. Yeah, look, objectively, it's a very beautiful fragrance. If you have a taste for Idole by Lancome, you will enjoy this fragrance for sure. There's not much to not enjoy about this fragrance, you guys. It's very well done. I get no cheap or sharp blasts in the opening. To me, it feels pretty smooth, pretty balanced at the same time. Again, it's the kind of fragrance that you could easily gift it to someone. By the way, if you see me doing like this, it's because I have a hair in my mouth. It's the kind of fragrance that you could easily gift it to someone dear in your life. I would say from 16 above, anyone could wear it. Like legit, anyone could wear it. Honestly, as I'm smelling it now, even perhaps someone who's like 14, 15, but perhaps that person at that age has a different taste when it comes to fragrances. Perhaps that person wants something a bit more sweet, a bit more gourmand. But this is the kind of fragrance that you could easily gift it to someone. Maybe you have a friend, and her birthday is coming up. Maybe one of your nieces, maybe one of your sisters, maybe one of your cousins, maybe your mother's birthday is coming up. Your auntie's birthday is coming up. Your grandmother's birthday is coming up. This is the kind of fragrance that it's legit timeless. This is what I would call like a classic beauty. You know, I can't say that it feels dated by any means, even though it's a floral, but it doesn't feel dated. Yes, it has a slight jasmine touch, but it's nothing indolic. Yes, it has a beautiful rosy bouquet, like a pink rose bouquet, but again, it's nothing too opulent or royal or mysterious or dark or earthy. It's a pretty pink rose, you know, that's the vibe it gives me. And it's pretty fresh, it's pretty airy, it's pretty light, it's pretty bright. This is why I would say it's the kind of fragrance that legit everyone could wear it. Perhaps during the daytime, maybe for nighttime this might be a bit too soft, but again, this depends a lot on your taste, you guys. Like, this depends a lot on your taste. But all in all, it's a beautiful fragrance. I feel like performance, now bear in mind I haven't tried it, like I haven't done like a full wear test for the fragrance, but from what I have noticed, expect from 4 to 5 hours longevity on your skin. But keep in mind, fragrances don't last on my skin that well. On clothes, I have to say I haven't tried it. But for the price, I feel like 4 to 5 hours is decent, you know. Maybe if you're lucky, you will get from 6 hours above, maybe 7 hours, who knows. Also, if you have an oil that's inspired by Idole from Lancome, you could layer the two. Or I actually have a body lotion that would work amazing. I'm not going to bring it right now, but it's from Victoria's Secret, and it's the pink one. Secret Temptation, I feel like it's called, or just Temptation, or Pure Seduction. I'm not really good with the names, but anyways, I will add it here on the screen. That again is a very like rosy forward body lotion, but that one actually feels quite rosy and green in a sense, like a rose with a citrus accord, rose with something green, but again, something very timeless and just beautiful overall, you know, nothing too green, too rosy, you know. I mean, you know how the majority of lotions from Victoria's Secret are. They are very easy to enjoy, you know. So again, if you have that one, perhaps you would like to amplify the longevity of this one. Yeah, see, even as I'm smelling it now, rosy with a hint of jasmine, the citrus facet faded away completely, slightly powdery, slightly musky, very airy, very breezy, very light, very dainty, with something a little bit sweet from the vanilla. Now let me compare the two fragrances and let's see how similar it is to Instance from Ahmed Maghribi. Right from the start, this is actually a tad stronger, but let me spray this one as well. Yeah, this is actually a tad oilier as well from what I've noticed. This opens up with, again, a bergamot that feels sweet and sour at the same time. It's a very interesting style of citrus accord. Perhaps a bit lemony with the same rose jasmine combo. Do I detect raspberry here? I'm not sure. Yeah. Look, you guys, of course, when I smell them side by side, I do notice differences between them. It's not like they It's like the same fragrance in both of these bottles. But see, now this one is actually sweeter, but it might be sweeter because it got to the point where the vanilla actually shines much more. This one in the dry down goes much sweeter as well and denser, and it loses some of that like bright and light and airy quality, and it goes a little bit denser as well. Yeah, is it redundant to have both? For sure. Unless you are a die-hard lover of Idole from Lancome, it might be a little bit too redundant to have both. Which one I would recommend? Look, I don't know, you guys. If it's a gift, I feel like this looks much better. Like the bottle looks much better. I feel like where they missed a little bit with the packaging of this fragrance. Like, it looks pretty juvenile. You know, it looks pretty juvenile, and it doesn't. To me, the packaging of this fragrance doesn't fit that effortlessly elegant and feminine and sophisticated and chic, modern yet very easy to wear scent that's in both of these two. So I feel like presentation wise, this one definitely wins. As a gift, I would say this one definitely wins because of the presentation and because the scent is very beautiful when it comes to this fragrance. However, performance, strength-wise, this one wins. But again, it's hard to beat a fragrance from Ahmed El Maghribi when it comes to performance, because you know their fragrances are extremely concentrated, like extremely concentrated, you guys. So that's that with Lavish Blush. Now let's move on to the fragrance called Musk Pour Narcis. And let's see how this one smells like. Look, even though I'm not a fan of musky fragrances myself, but this is such a well done musky fragrance. No alcohol blast, no sharp or pungent aspects in the opening. It doesn't feel like it hits your nose. It's such a smooth and overall very well blended and balanced composition to me. And it really puts the musk in the center stage, let's just say. You know, this is all about musk. Yeah, let me spray this fragrance and tell you how it smells. So this one opens up clean, it opens up with a very crisp, clean white musk that feels almost a little bit oily when you smell it. If you've tried, for instance, Supreme from Ahmed El Maghribi, I'm sure you have smelled that crisp, clean white musk that you have in the opening. You have something similar here, only in the opening, but it's, let's just say, like a few steps more subdued in a sense. You know, it's not as crisp, but it's still pretty crisp and clean and oily smelling. You have here different facets and different shades of clean in a sense. You have here different accords that all contribute to the clean sensation that this fragrance has. I wanted to say fresh as well, but usually when you say fresh, you think of something blue fresh. This doesn't feel blue. If anything, this feels almost in a very weird way like dewy and green, but again a very delicate and subtle hint of this aspect. But you know what I have noticed when I was trying out this fragrance on my skin? How to explain this aspect? Even though the fragrance itself, like when you think of musk and when you think of clean, of course you think of light, but this fragrance doesn't feel light at all, you guys. This fragrance feels like, you know, when it's about to rain and the atmosphere feels like very heavy and very heavy and very suffocating in a sense. Well, this feels the same. Doesn't feel suffocating, but it feels very heavy, like density wise, like, you know, it's pretty, not even density, like weight wise, it feels pretty heavy. Maybe I detect slight citrusy facets, but again, this is not a citrus dominant fragrance, you guys. To me, I'm not really sure if this is an inspiration of any other fragrances out there, perhaps something from Narciso Rodriguez, I'm not really sure, or if this is a unique creation. But if you want something that smells clean, effortless, yet present, you guys, this fragrance is not the kind of fragrance that feels like a skin scent. Maybe by looking at the notes, you might be tempted to say that it should feel like a skin scent, but like I've mentioned, the cloud of fragrance feels pretty heavy, you know, just like when it's about to rain and the atmosphere feels very heavy. Yeah, this is the bubble that this fragrance has in a sense. It smells modern, it smells clean, but not like clean clothes. Not like you just like took out from your washing machine like a clean linen piece of clothing or anything like this. It smells clean, like clean skin, with the smell of baby powder, with that slight dewy green facet in the background. But I have to say, to me, this fragrance truly gets a chance to shine on the skin. Of course, I could have sprayed it now on my skin, but I want to try out more fragrances, so I don't want to just like spray all the fragrances on my skin. But this shines the best on your skin. On your skin, I feel like it evolves in such a different way. I mean, let me not just say such a different way, because it follows a very similar scent trajectory, but to me what happens is it's more nuanced, you know, like the texture of the fragrance shines more, like the depth of the fragrance shines more, like all those slight, almost like hidden facets, they shine much more than they shine here on paper. Here on paper you get just like a brief feel of how this fragrance is, but I'm telling you, if you love fragrances, if you love fragrances like Chloe style, or if you love fragrances from Narciso Rodriguez, or if you work perhaps in an environment where you are not allowed to wear a fragrance, or perhaps you do not want to wear a very heavy fragrance in your work environment, this is something that you would enjoy a lot, as long as you enjoy masking fragrances. But if you enjoy masking fragrances, try this fragrance, look for a sample, you will not be disappointed. This is one of the most pleasant, simplistic yet complex masking fragrances, and I know it's hard to imagine, like, what do you mean by simplistic yet complex? What I mean by this is the fragrance itself, when you smell it, it feels simplistic in a sense that it feels, like I've told you, different shades of clean, you know, like different facets of clean. But when you actually smell it from your skin, this has a lot of almost like hidden facet and accord, you know, like you smell, yes, it smells clean, but it smells clean with another tone of this, and the other accord smells clean with the facet of that, if you can picture this. This is why I see that it smells simplistic and complex at the same time. So this is why, to me, it's a very well done fragrance. If you are looking for a musky fragrance, look no further, get a sample, test it, and let me know what you think of this fragrance. Now, let's move on to the next fragrances, and let's move on to this fragrance, Musk Sahra. Now, this fragrance, to me, this is anything but musky. I mean, maybe musky a little bit in the opening, but as it develops, it goes into a very different direction, and it's a very unique scent composition in a sense. Again, this opens up with such an interesting accord. Feels crisp, clean, dewy and green. And crisp, clean, dewy and green. No, but legit, it feels crisp, clean, dewy and green. Spicy at the same time, like peppery spicy, but it quickly changes. This fragrance is not a linear fragrance. If perhaps Lavish Blush, why is it so hard to pronounce? Lavish Blush was a bit of a more linear fragrance in a sense that, even though, let's just say, it does change as it develops, but it doesn't have like crazy changes. Well, this fragrance actually has crazy changes as it develops, so it's safe to say it's not a linear fragrance at all. It has a moment when it reminds me of a fragrance from Afnan, Turati Brown. If you have tried Turati Brown, you know that I have mentioned that in that fragrance you have this very interesting, do you know that dewy leafy green smell? After the rain, dewy leafy green, clean kind of smell. You have this aspect here as well. But here it's a tad more peppery in a sense. But you have the same aspect in the opening. Think something like violet lips. Usually violet lips gives this feeling when you smell a fragrance that it smells like fleshy, leafy, dewy green. Now, as this fragrance actually develops, you lose that clean feeling that you had in the opening, that like crisp, clean, white musk kind of clean. That spicy, peppery hint tones down more and more, and to me, I still detect this violet leaf and how it translates here. Like I've told you, it smells like you're in nature, like it was raining very heavy, and you smell some leaves, but not the thin leaves, like those like really fleshy leaves, you know. And they smell clean, green and dewy. That's the violet leaf here. But now I start to detect this like dry but rich style of woody accord as well. Something a little bit more amber in a sense that gives a lot of richness to the fragrance, but doesn't give warmth, because this fragrance feels pretty cold at this moment on. Something slightly powdery as well, and a very delicate sweet facet. I'm guessing it might be from vanilla. Overall, as the fragrance develops, you guys, it goes richer, it goes denser, it goes a little bit more complex. It loses some of that clean-like facet, you know, and now it's much more multifaceted in a sense, and to me smells like a walk in a forest. After it was raining, yeah, you smell the woody accord here. It's not a woody accord in the style of oud, it's like a rich woody accord, slightly powdery at the same time, but it's rich, it's not that cashmeran type of woody accord, you know. You smell the greenery. you smell something airy in a sense, like that after the rain, chilly, airy vibe. And vanilla at the same time. Again, I'm not sure if this is a unique creation or if it's an inspiration. Look, to me, where is it? Here it is. This is the kind of fragrance, maybe it's unisex. I mean, of course, you wear whatever you like. Personally, I would prefer to smell this one on a man. Look, if you love Turati Brown from Afnan, you will enjoy this fragrance because I actually find them pretty similar. But this one, Musk Sahra, gets similar to Turati Brown from Afnan, only as the fragrance, let's just say, reaches the heart, and from the heart till the dry down. In the opening, to me, they are pretty different fragrances, but it's such a beautiful fragrance for the summertime, springtime, you know, this kind of weather. To me, this one in autumn, winter, might be a bit too melancholic, I don't know, but I could picture actually someone wearing it in autumn, winter as well. Yeah, again, if you enjoy the style of Turati Brown in Afnan, you will enjoy this fragrance as well. If not, this is not for you. Objectively speaking, this is a beautiful fragrance. Again, very smooth, extremely affordable, you guys. At the moment, I feel like Dubai Collection has a sale for this fragrance, so it's like 25 euros, something like this, for 100 ml, and it smells very beautiful. But keep in mind, this is not the kind of fragrance that exudes femininity. This is more, to me at least, in the opening up until the heart, it's more of a meditative style of fragrance, like a fragrance to me that's very calming and relaxing and grounding in a sense, like it calms your senses as you smell it, or maybe it calms mine, because when I smelled this fragrance in the opening up until the heart, I was reminded by different hiking trips that I went on, you know, and the smell in the forest after the rain and everything like this. Maybe this is why for me it's more like therapeutic, like aromatherapy in a sense. But actually in the dry down, this fragrance goes much sweeter because of the vanilla, and it's this very interesting, like dry, rich, woody, vanillic combo with a hint of something a little bit ambery. So we got to the last fragrance for today's video, and the last fragrance is called Oud Noir, from this collection over here. It's from the same collection with Sensuous Night, by the way, but this to me is a more unisex, definitely masculine leaning style of fragrance. When I smell this fragrance, I am reminded of another fragrance, you guys, and this fragrance, look, if the other fragrances were more like your typical clean and dainty and feminine, think Lavish Blush, or more like calming and grounding and therapeutic, think Musk Sahra for me, or think very simplistic yet complex musky fragrance, think Musk Pour Narcis. To me, this is the kind of fragrance that exudes power, exudes strength, exudes confidence. You need the taste to wear something like this, you need the attitude to pull off something like this, and also the outfit, you guys, because this to me, this is an elegant fragrance. This to me is the kind of fragrance you would wear for a wedding, for any occasion, for an event in a sense, but it's an event where you're more dressed up. And I would picture this one on a man as well, but I'm sure there are women who love this DNA as well. And as a reference, to me, it reminds me of a fragrance from, look, it reminds me of Penthouse Windsor that I have in my collection, and that fragrance, I was told, it's an inspiration of, I think, Ombre Nomade by Louis Vuitton, but I'm not sure. But I think Ombre Nomade. So let me actually spray this fragrance and tell you how it smells like. Yeah, see, look, to me, I don't know why every time I smell this DNA, to me it makes me think of a very like gothic church with like cold and very like high and concrete walls on a very rainy, gloomy, moody, melancholic day. That's the vibe it gives me, like that's the picture I have in my mind when I'm smelling this fragrance. And inside that church, it's like a rose incense burning, you know? But it feels cold, it smells like concrete in a sense, it smells mineral, it smells like that after the rain kind of smell in a way. Now look, that's the picture that I have in my mind when I'm smelling this fragrance, like now notes-wise, like what I'm actually smelling. I smell a leather accord, the kind of leather that smells almost like a new leather bag, new leather shoes, or like a freshly dyed pair of leather something, I don't know, you know, that style of leather accord, like a black leather bag, like a black leather belt, something like this. and it's very present. And I feel like you have here also this cold and crisp raspberry facet that lifts up a little bit that leather accord, so it doesn't feel as dark and suffocating perhaps. It has, or simplistic or straightforward only, it has actually a little bit of lift in a sense because of the raspberry accord that you have here. But almost it's like a raspberry accord with like a rosy twist in a sense, you know, something raspberry rosy but very cold and crisp and almost a little bit dewy in a way. Yeah, this is how it smells like to me. To me, this fragrance smells powerful, but it smells at the same time very like moody and melancholic and nostalgic and yeah. It smells like a gloomy day, but in a good way, like in a very good way, you know. I'm not saying this in like a negative way, but it's very interesting, like the kind of picture I have in my mind when I'm smelling this fragrance. But not just this fragrance, it's the same picture that I have in my mind every time I smell anything in this scent family to me. And it's such a contrast between the energy of this fragrance, which I told you, it's pretty powerful and confident and unapologetic and mysterious, and in a sense it exudes power, yet the picture I have in my mind when I'm smelling the fragrance, which is gloomy and moody and melancholic, like I told you, like a church with like very like high concrete walls. And see, as the fragrance starts to develop, it still remains pretty cold, but I feel like now, besides that very pronounced like freshly dyed pair of anything leathery, I detect a slight resinous ambery accord in a sense that to me adds a lot of richness to the fragrance. I can't say that it adds warmth per se, because I do not find this fragrance pretty warm. Actually, if anything, to me it's more like not the dewy per se, but like that after the rain kind of smell, very gloomy, moody, melancholic, you know. Yeah, but it starts to feel actually much richer, like texture wise, you know. It doesn't feel as dry as it felt. The leather accord I'm talking about. Yeah, leathery, woody a little bit. Maybe it has an oud accord. I mean, I'm guessing by the name it has an oud accord. Woody. Yeah, the best way to describe it, like church with concrete walls, very high, outside is raining. You're sitting on like a wooden bench in a church. The air is very crisp and cold. That after the rain smell lingers a little bit in the air. And someone somewhere has put to burn a little bit of a rose incense. Not incense sticks, like actually frankincense, you know, like rose scented frankincense. But it's pretty far from you because you don't get the smokiness and you don't get the warmth from the frankincense burning. You just get trails of the scent in a way. Yeah, this fragrance in a sense feels very poetic. I don't know why it makes me feel this way, but it feels pretty poetic to me, which is a very interesting aspect. Yeah, safe to say, you guys, this is not the kind of fragrance that everyone could pull off. It takes a certain style of taste, a certain taste in fragrances, a certain style perhaps, a certain energy to pull off a fragrance like this, a certain, I do not know how to pronounce this word in English, but mannerism, I think you pronounce it. It takes like a bit more to pull off a fragrance like this. And also, this is not the kind of fragrance that one would wear, like, I don't know, to do the groceries very fast here, you know, like, let's just say like few streets down. This is elegant. Maybe I find it so elegant because I find it so poetic at the same time. And again, it's more refined, and again, it's not something for everyone. So then in my mind, associating it with the story that I told you, I find it definitely more elegant and more masculine. I wouldn't wear this fragrance. Like I've said, maybe a few years ago, I would have tried to wear something like this, but at the moment I have to say my taste has evolved a lot since then, you guys. And even if I enjoy rose in fragrances, but I enjoy a very different style of rose, but I can definitely appreciate this fragrance on a very like well-dressed, well-mannered gentleman. 10 out of 10 for the special occasion, amazing. With a very good outfit, amazing. And a very polished look. Again, to me, this needs a polished look. Maybe it's just in my mind because I find it pretty elegant and sophisticated, but it's not that like doesn't exude that like raw masculinity kind of energy, you know. It exudes a very confident yet mysterious energy about it, but put together. Yeah, enough about this fragrance. Those were my thoughts on these fragrances. If I were to give you like my conclusions, let's just say, let's start, let's actually go in order. So Lavish Blush, beautiful fragrance. If you want something, I feel like at most people will say it's too simplistic, like that's the only negative quality that you can find about this fragrance. Some people will say it's quote unquote maybe a little bit boring because it's nothing like this one, like Oud Noir for instance, you know. But at the same time, if you're a woman and you know yourself to be very dainty and soft and girly and feminine, and you want something that feels very elegant and sophisticated and timeless, but again not sophisticated in a very like bougie style of way, in a very like rigid, you know, style. No, sophisticated in a sense like it's the way you carry yourself that is very sophisticated. Beautiful fragrance. Again, if I were to tell you between these two, if you want to make a gift, go for this one because it's much more beautiful. Or if the person is very young, why not gift it this fragrance? But if you're looking for something stronger, go for instance from Ahmed al Maghribi. Next fragrance, you guys, let's see. This one, Musk Pour Narcis. Beautiful fragrance if you have a taste for clean, musky fragrances. I told you, different shades of clean, different facets of clean, different things that together smell clean, but clean with different undertones in a sense. Yeah, it's not really my taste. I can say that is the kind of fragrance that I would wear myself, but if you know you love masking fragrances, if you know you love the style of masking Narciso Rodriguez, if you know you love Chloe fragrances, try this fragrance. I can tell you, you will not be disappointed. Get a sample, get a decant, test it on your skin. But it's a very beautiful and well done fragrance, you guys. Very well done mask without anything cheap or sharp or alcoholic, or without anything that hits your nose. It's a very pleasant and beautiful and smooth blend of musk. Next two fragrances. Look, this one, Musk Sahra, is beautiful. If you have a taste for fragrances like Torati Brown from Afnan, I cannot really, like, what kind of person would wear something like this? I don't know, you guys. I don't know. When I smell this, I think of my hiking trips in nature, like legit my hiking trips in nature. See, maybe someone who's very sporty, outdoorsy, you know, that person perhaps likes to do a lot of hiking, you know. I wouldn't picture this fragrance on someone, let's just say. Like that person definitely takes care of themselves, like if it's a man, because I would picture this fragrance on a man. But it's not like too much. But it's neither that raw masculinity in a bottle, you know. Yeah, I don't know why I would picture this fragrance on men who go hiking. I don't know. And last but not least, we have Oud Noir. This is edgy, you guys. This is edgy. This is creative. This is unapologetic. This you definitely need to test it first. But if you know you have a taste for the kind of fragrances that I have described, if you know you'll enjoy Penthouse Windsor from Afnan. Penthouse Windsor, yeah. Yeah, if you know you love, I think, Ombre Nomade, if I remember correctly, from Louis Vuitton. If you know you love like complex, mysterious, gloomy, moody, melancholic, I don't know, perhaps if you're a very mysterious man, try out something like this, why not? But it's a beautiful fragrance, definitely more, I want to say like niche, like in a sense that it feels very creative and unapologetic. And to me, I don't know, to me this has, I told you, I find it very poetic, very poetic. The most wearable one, perhaps not, of course it's not the most wearable one. But it is very poetic. And I do think it takes a certain type of person to appreciate something like this. So yes, you guys, those were my thoughts on these fragrances. Thank you so much for watching. Have you tried any of these 4 fragrances? If you have, I would love to hear your feedback on the fragrance. Let me know how it smells like to you. Let me know how you find the performance. If you have any recommendations from Khadlaj, put them in the comment section, because I'm looking into exploring many more fragrances from this brand. Sorry, you guys, my mind is a little bit in like 10 different directions at the moment. Like I've mentioned, I am looking forward to exploring many more fragrances from this brand. So if you have any recommendations, please put them in the comment section. Yeah. This is everything for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Thank you for all the love that you have sent me. Thank you for all your beautiful comments, for all the good energy that you're sending it to me. I'm sending it way back to you, multiplied 10 times. So thank you so much. I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to keep following me on Instagram. Here is my handle. But like I've mentioned, I will see you in my next video, guys. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.